anytime there's a transition from role player to go-to player, there's going to be some ups and downs, and I think you've seen that. But they're still a very talented team, very deep team, and I thought that the Florida State win was a big win for them, and they've played exceptionally well since then.
The first half against Maryland was one of their better halves of the year also, it looked like.
They did a good job attacking the basket, and they're such a great rebounding team. That's one thing that they can get themselves out of trouble in terms of missed shots and so forth by the fact that they're such a good offensive rebounding team. Their perimeter guys do a great job of going to the glass. They're big, in Bullock and Harrison. They got some really big wing players.
Of course, McAdoo's another guy you got to keep off the boards too.
Well, the last 2 games, he might have played his best basketball of his career. I think Coach probably got on him a little bit in terms of maybe not the type of effort or concentration that he needs from a great player. And I think that he's shown over the last couple games why he had a lot of preseason accolades.
Of course, Bullock started to pick up the scoring a little now too.
He can really hurt you around the basket. He's shooting the ball well from the 3. Just a guy that you can't lose. You have to do a really good job of always being there with your chest in front of him on the catch, because as I said, he can knock down shots if he's got a sliver of daylight, and he's great strength, and he just kind of powers his way to the basket. So you got to do a really good job of guarding the dribble as well.
You talked earlier, you were pleased earlier in the year with the fact that the turnovers were down, and then you had the Duke game maybe not so well. What have you talked to the players about since then?
Well, you can't have empty possessions. You just can't have that. And I thought our the turnovers against Duke, number one, that they're a team that forces a lot of turnovers. Number 2, our aggressiveness and our desire to be aggressive with the ball led at times to us maybe not making as good of decisions. And young players have to understand, when you're given the freedom to be aggressive with the dribble and make plays with the dribble, there also comes a responsibility for making good decisions. And at times we didn't do that on Thursday night.
And of course, having the younger guys having the experience now of playing in Cameron and now going into North Carolina, they won't be probably as awed as they would have been if they would have gone there first, maybe.
Well, again, I don't think our guys would have been awed if no matter where we went. I think those guys have a pretty good understanding that they put on their uniform the same way we do, and the arena doesn't make the game. You got to go out there and compete. I was pleased with our guys' competitiveness at Duke, and I would be disappointed if we didn't have that same type of competitiveness on Wednesday night.
Chris came out and was your first 20-point scorer of the year. How has his role progressed over the last couple of games?
Well, I was, didn't think he was aggressive enough over that Christmas break time. Thought he was a little tentative. I didn't think he was practicing as well as he needed to practice. Kind of challenged him a little bit. I know the assistants did a good job of showing him film, showing him different areas where we thought he could, be more aggressive, and that we needed him to be more aggressive. And I thought, over the last couple of weeks, he's done a much better job of that. And we need that, because that perimeter scoring can give us a boost. Now, the challenge always for young guys is, was it external motivation with starting and playing Duke that got, because if that's the case, then you're always going to have inconsistency. The biggest thing with young guys is to find that internal motivation that allows you to constantly continue to improve.
Of course, if you can get that perimeter scoring, that's going to open things up for Daniel and Rob and Cam.
That's the hope. If we could, and we had some good looks against Duke from some other guys that we needed to knock down. And so, if you could handle pressure and make some perimeter shots, that makes it a lot easier for the post players.
With Cam, do you have to keep telling him, hey, you got to keep going after it, even though maybe the shots aren't dropping the way you want them to? Or?
Yeah, and it's not even the shots that are dropping. You know, it's he's hurrying some shots around the basket. He's and at times not shooting as quick as he needs to. When he's open, he needs to shoot the ball. Doesn't need to put the ball on the floor. Doesn't need to try to draw contact. Doesn't need to any gimmick shots. He just needs to go up and score. And you know, you're talking about a kid that has been very, very effective for us, and we're not as good when he doesn't play well.
To get the win up there, what do you think your team needs to do?
I think we need to take care of the ball because you know you're on the road, so you know quality possessions is very, very important. You know, and we need to be aggressive on offense in terms of getting the ball inside, scoring in transition, attacking the basket. And then, you know, defensively, you got to have a really good team defensive effort. You got to, you know, guard their motion offense, keep the dribble in front of you, and you got to control the glass. You can't, they're the best offensive rebounding team or one of the best offensive rebounding teams, not just in our league, but in the country. So you can't give them second and third shots.
Okay, thanks.
All right, you got it, man.